Hey guys, I'm here today to speak to you about Instagram and how to make the most of it. So I'm going to start with the very basics. So your profile name. So when choosing a name on Instagram, you can change it at any time, but it's best to pick one that is going to be clear, easy to remember, and easy to type. Putting things like underscores and dots in, they might look nice, but they can be more difficult for people to find. So for example, my name is Jess MK Art. Nice and simple. It can be difficult sometimes trying to find a name that's not been used before, but really doing your research, trying name after name after name, really will get you a name in the end that means that people can find you easily and it's easily recognizable what you do. So if you're an artist, having art in your name is going to make a big difference to say your name. So if I just had a profile that was just Jess MK, people might not necessarily find me as easily. Whereas Jess MK Art is great. If you've got a business, try to stick to your business name. Don't vary too much from it. So for example, if your business was called Busy Bees, then try and get Busy Bees. If you can't get Busy Bees Shop, Busy Bees Art, whatever, whatever you do, make that part of your name. Try and keep it short and sweet. Don't go over the top being like, Busy Bee Shop at Emporium on 69, blah, 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 because people aren't going to remember that and they aren't going to be able to find you easily. And that's what you want. You want to be able to say to people, follow me on Instagram, check out my work there, and them to just be able to go on their phone and find it. You don't want to be faffing around for 10 minutes trying to work out exactly what it is. So that's my advice on profile names to begin with. So that's the first part that's really important. The second part is your profile picture. So on Instagram, your profile picture isn't as predominant as, say, Facebook, where it's very obvious, everyone gets a notification when you update it, and everyone kind of, they know exactly who you are and they know you're changing your profile picture. On Instagram, it's very different. People don't get a notification when you change your profile picture. If you're constantly changing it, then people aren't necessarily going to recognise that it's you. So you're filling up their feed with all your stuff all the time, which is great, but if your profile picture is different, they're just going to think you're someone else every time. And what you need to have something that's consistent. So mine is currently a selfie I took quite a while ago. However, people recognise that now. So I'm not going to be changing that anytime soon. And when I do, it'll be part of a massive rebranding. So really think about what you want your profile picture to be and stick with it. Don't be changing it all the time. Something that is going to last for years to come. People need to look at your profile and they need to say, yes, that's this person. I know it is because it's their name and it's their profile picture. Don't be changing them things. You need to stick to them, okay? Okay, so the next part I want to talk to you guys about is the name section. So when you fill in your details on Instagram, it asks you to what your name is, which appears in bold under your profile picture. So with this, you don't need to put in your name. This is what is searchable about you. So if it's a personal profile, then I'd have Jessica Martin-Kemp. People would search my name on Instagram, pop up straight away. But that is not what I want. What I want is people to search Tattoo Apprentice in Cardiff and I will come up. Because that is what is in my name. So people might not necessarily be searching for you, but they might be searching for something along them lines. So if you're a tattooist, if you're an artist, if you're, a crocheter, then add that into your name. Because that is really important and it is a great way to get people to find you. Okay, so that's third part so far. Right, your bio. Short and sweet. Have 4 or 5 lines. Each one, maybe an emoji, something that emoji-wise as well is going to work on multiple devices. So some things will show up on Apple, which won't show up on Samsung. So iOS and... Sorry, lost my train of thought there. So iOS and Android have different emojis occasionally. So you need something emoji-wise, if you're going to put it in your bio, that is going to show up on both. Because that's really important that I don't go on someone's profile and it looks great, but I just got these little squares. You know the ones. The ones where your phone just can't work out what it's meant to be. So that's really important as well. So in them 4 lines, keep it basic. Keep it really basic. So for example, mine is, I will show you mine now. Mine is pet portrait drawing specialist as my first line, because that is what I do predominantly. I get a lot of pet portrait drawing requests, so that is what is in my first line. So people click on my profile and they go, found her, sorted. I've also got my partner on there. This is because I was getting a lot of unwanted male and female attention that just wasn't not what I'm using Instagram for, you know? So I've made it very clear that I'm in a relationship. I've also put underneath as well that I do tattoo designs, because that is what I am working towards at the moment as being a tattoo apprentice. Under that, I'm an apprentice at Veer Street Tattoos. So I have actually tagged Veer Street Tattoos in my bio so that people can see that I work there, and they can click on that link and say, oh yes, it's a really good studio, I really like the work there. And you know, if it's something that I can't do, they can easily go to the Veer Street Tattoo Studios and see the work that they can do and say, well, actually, maybe I'd prefer someone else. And I've also got underneath as well, DM for work, just so that people, you know to direct message me. You need to tell people in your bio how to contact you. It needs to be clear, because otherwise you're going to be getting comments, messages, emails, phone calls, and you don't want all that. You want all your work to come from one main stream. It's great to have multiple ways to contact you, but if you specifically say to people, look, it's best to message me, you're going to get more messages, which makes it easier for you to work out who, what, where, when, you know? Everything's there in a list, nice and orderly. You don't have 6 different inboxes filled up with requests. And last but not least, your link underneath this. So my link is veerstreettattoos.com, which is the place where my prints are being sold. So if you're selling prints, if you're selling work, if you've got an Etsy shop, anything like that, put that in there. And then every time you post about the items that you're selling or the commissions you've got available, just say, the link's in my bio. Nice and easy, nice and simple. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is the type of account that you've got. So you can have a standard account, a business account, or a creator account. So if it's a profile for you and you work somewhere and you're showing your work, but personally, not the shop's work, your work, then go with creator. If you are a business and it's a business page, nothing personal, just business stuff, maybe for multiple clients, multiple artists, whatever you're doing, then go with business. If it's a personal account, then obviously just the standard one is fine. But the great thing is, I've not used business myself, so I can't really tell you what there is to utilise. But on a creator account, you get extra things once you get past 10,000 followers. 10,000 may sound like a lot, but I'll go through that in a minute. It's really not. It's really quite easy to get there if you follow all these steps. So if you go into your settings, you can change your account type. So mine is creator, which means that I can add links into my story, which is absolutely great. It means that if I post a story up and I'm like, hey guys, I've got new prints for sale, I can put a link in there so that people can go straight from that story to that website. They don't have to go to my bio, click on this, you know, they've lost interest by that point. Whereas they go on my story and they're like, oh, I like that, see how much it is, you know? Nice, simple, easy for your customers and clients alike. They're gonna love it. The other thing you can do as well, I'm sure this is on business as well, is go onto insights. So on your main profile, if you've got a creator account, underneath your bio, there is 3 buttons: edit profile, promotions, and insights. Don't bother with promotions unless you've got money to burn, because we all know that Instagram and Facebook's algorithms with promotions are basically a rip-off. I didn't say that, it's just... So insights will show you what you're posting and how many interactions you're getting with it, which is great to see what you're posting. Like, you know what's doing well and what's not, basically. So you know, if I post 6 pictures of dogs in a row, everyone loves dogs. If I post a cat and the interactions are down, I ain't posting no more cats. So you've got to use them things, them tools that you get given just as a creator to make your life just that little bit easier and mean that you can really utilise the tools that Instagram is giving you without spending loads of money on getting someone to do this for you or on promotions. Okay? So, what I'm going to say next is there's quite a few things to kind of like go through. So I'm trying to keep this as short as possible because no one wants to sit here for 6 hours long watching a how to do Instagram video. Okay, so your contact information as well on your profile. I choose to keep mine 0 and just say DM me. It's up to you. If you prefer phone calls, get your phone number in there. If you prefer emails, get your email in there. But make sure that you've got the the how to contact there. Don't just say in your profile, email me, but not put an email address. Make sure you've got all the contact information that you want to give your clients there. If you don't want your clients calling you up, do not give out your phone number. If you don't want them emailing you, do not give out your email. If you don't want them DMing you, say do something else, you know? You've got to be clear. You've got to remember that these people on the internet, they aren't like you and me. They don't necessarily understand the way things work, you know? Especially if you've got your general client base and they kind of all do the same thing. You can't guarantee that new clients are going to do that, you know? So that's something really important as well, making sure that you keep your contact the way you want it. So people are only contacting you how you want them to, okay? So, profile type we've done. Also as well, on your bio, it will ask you to pick a category. So depending what you do, depends what you pick. The general one, I'm going to say, because this video is mainly aimed at artists, but obviously anyone can use this, is artist. Which means that you'll show up under artists. If people follow artist hashtag, they're going to see you. Okay? So something else we need to look at as well is commenting. Commenting is a big thing on Instagram. You don't know how much until you start to do it and you really see the numbers rise on your followers, on your comments, on your interactions. So what you need to do is you need to go down your feed. You don't even need to go on new profiles just yet. I want you to focus specifically on the people that are on your feed that you may have been neglecting, you may have been ignoring. You just look at their photo and flick past. You need to comment on every single post. Well, not every post, but a lot of posts, okay? So you need to be commenting more than 3 words. You need to be starting a conversation. If it's anything less than 3 words, it will not increase your algorithm. It will not increase your insights. You need to be leaving proper comments. You need to be starting conversations. Every single time you comment on someone's post, as long as it's more than 3 words, your interactions will increase. Every single time that they reply to you, they'll go up even more. And obviously, if you're having a conversation with someone, then that's amazing. That's just going to do so much wonders for you. So every time someone comments on your post, even if it's just an emoji, reply and be like, hey, thanks for this. How's your day going? They may not reply, but you've taken the time to just write out that really quick message, and it's then opening up a conversation for them. So the more comments, the better. The more comments on something, the more people will see it. So the way Instagram works with algorithms nowadays isn't just likes. It's not like, 10,000 likes on this photo. It's comments as well. Comments are bigger interaction than likes. Way bigger. So the more people's stuff you comment on, the more people will comment on your stuff, therefore boosting your interaction with everyone. And reply to every single comment. I don't care if it takes you an hour, you need to do it. If you've got an hour's worth of comments to reply to, that's incredible, and you want to keep that up. You don't want to see that drop, okay? So Instagram, it can be quite intense, and some days you do need to take a break. As long as when you go back, you put the effort in, you will see an increase in followers and interactions. And therefore, obviously, an increase in work, which is great. So, comments is, it's really important, and it's made such a big difference to my personal Instagram. Not personal, but my Instagram, okay? So, likes, obviously, when we go on a liking spree, it can get a bit monotonous sometimes, just like this, like that, like this. Don't do that. Go on your feed first. Go through things you like them, comment, comment, and then go into your hashtags, right? Search at the top for a hashtag that you commonly use, or even go on your most recent profile and click on a hashtag that you didn't. Go on recent comments and, recent posts, and like photos, and obviously comment on them too if you've got the time, because these are new people that are going to see you. It's great for people that you've already got following you, but what it's going to mean by doing it with people who already follow you is that they stay interested. You don't lose people that way. And it's great to get new followers, but you need to interact with the ones you've already got. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere, and people are just going to drop off slowly, and you're going to get 10 new followers but lose 20, and you don't want that. You know, you want to keep increasing your follower count so that you reach more and more people. So that's something that's really important as well. Make sure you go through your feed and then go through on hashtags or search what you want. You can even do as well something that I find quite helpful to make sure that, you know, as a tattoo apprentice, I'm going to be looking for more and more clients based in my area. So we all know Instagram's worldwide, and there are people all over the world. You know, I've been speaking to people like in Japan, in lots of people from India and stuff like that. They're obviously not going to come in and get a tattoo from me when I'm tattooing. So what you can do as well is you can search areas, which can be quite helpful too. It may not necessarily be the kind of stuff that you're interested in looking on Instagram, but it doesn't take much to comment and be like, oh my god, your dog is so cute. I'd love to meet him sometime. You know, if you're in that area. It might be a bit creepy, but you get the gist, okay? So also search people in your area to like, comment, follow. If you find them interesting, follow them. If you don't. Just interact with them. You know, you don't have to follow every single person on Instagram. That's not how it works, okay? So the other thing as well I want to talk to you about is DMs. Direct messages, inbox, whatever you want to call it. I have to make sure that I cover everything because I didn't know what a DM was for a long time, okay? So in regards to DMs, reply to every single one you get. Everyone, even if it's hi. Just be like, hey, how's it going? Because that will, again, increase your engagement. And all we want to do is push our engagement up so more and more people see us. The more see us, the more work we get, okay? And the more work we get, the more money we got, everyone's happy, okay? So reply to your DMs, even if they're annoying. If they're weird, yeah, block them. You know, I don't blame you, I've blocked quite a few. Okay. Stories. I'm not very good at stories, but I should be better. So stories you should be posting like as much as you want. You should post a story if it's in relation to something. So say I just drew something with my pro markers. I would upload a story and be like, use my pro markers and tag pro markers and tag Winsor & Newton who make them and hashtag Winsor & Newton and all this, you know, because they're gonna then see it. And who knows, you might be lucky enough for them to repost your story, which will mean that then you will get a further reach than ever. These big brands, they love interactions like this. They love it when you're like, hey, I used your pencils today. And they're like, oh, you used our pencils? We love it. And then they'll reshare your things. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen every time. But the more you do it, the more they're going to notice you. So it's really important to do these things. Okay, so that's the story side of it. Also stories as well, they don't have to necessarily be on point. You know, sometimes it's cool to post like something a little bit personal in there. Like, I don't know. So like, hey, I'm having a coffee before work today. Or something like that, you know, just might get people talking. So, photos. When you're taking your photos, they need to be clear. There is actually a grid on Facebook where you, on Instagram, sorry, where you can make sure that your photo is centered. So when you're taking photos as well, it's really hard to for me to tell you exactly what to do because everyone's so different in how they do them and what they're taking photos of, you know? Like obviously a photographer is going to take different photos to a tattooist, and a tattooist will take different photos to a painter. Something that I was taught growing up was very much when I was early on in my tattooing career and my first apprenticeship was never take a photo face on. Because someone could just save that, copy it, and rip it off as their own. But as I've kind of grown up a bit, I've come to realise that you should represent your work as well as you can. If someone takes that and rips it off, then they're the only one losing. You should be flattered. You should be able to say, hey, that's my work, man. Fucked it up. You know, you shouldn't be hung up on these things. It's a compliment. If someone copies your work and takes it, people are going to know as well. They're going to be like, wait, that's that person's work. Because your goal is to reach as many people as possible. If you've reached 10,000 people and one of those followers rips off your work, people are going to know. They're going to be like, oh wait, no, Jess did that already. You've copied that. Do your own work. And believe me, I know. Because I'm in a tattoo apprentice group on Facebook. And every single time someone posts anything that has been slightly ripped off by someone else, they'll be like, wait, no. As soon as you're in that kind of circle of people, they will notice these things straight away. And, you know, if they don't, does it matter? No, because you did the original, you did the best, and that is all that matters. So what you should be doing with photos is taking one that best represents the work that you've done. Don't be editing art. If it's black and grey, you can slightly adjust the contrast. You can use apps to blur out smudges and things like that. That's not so bad. But do not go on there and put on like a really fancy filter that makes your colour look neon colours when it's actually really dull and bland. Just make your art better. Because otherwise people are going to come along and they're going to see your art in real life and they're going to be so disappointed. Especially like in my line of work doing commissions. If I do a commission and I take a photo of it and it looks absolutely great because I've edited the of it, and then I send it to the client, they're gonna be like, wait, this isn't what you did for me. Like, what is this? Is this a rip-off? Is this a joke? And you don't want that. So you need to make sure you are doing a true representation of what your art looks like when you take photos. So now you've got the perfect photo with no filter, maybe a little bit of editing to get rid of, I don't know, the background or something like that. That's fine. Just don't edit the actual art. Then once you've done all that, the next thing you need to do is think about your caption and your hashtags. So your caption should be different every time. Your caption can be as long as you want it to be. You could write, "Hi, my name is Jess. Today I drew this squirrel. This squirrel is really nice. He likes nuts. Blah, 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 blah." You can write as much as you want. Make sure you're breaking it up. So we all know the tricks in Instagram. Finish a sentence, next line, dot, next line, dot, next line, dot, to leave a gap. That's how we do it. We all know that. And if you don't, now you do. So do that between paragraphs. You can make it as long as you want, right? That's absolutely fine. Get a question in there if you can. Tag the companies whose products you've used. Be like, I did this using pro markers, and I did this using watercolors, whatever. Tag everything. Hashtag, tag, whatever. And then once you've done your massive intro, or maybe a short one, because I do short ones because I'm lazy, then you need to do quite a few dots and get your hashtags in. So hashtags is a bit of a controversial one. Some people say to only use between 6 and 8. Some people only use 1 or 2. Some people will use 10, 15, 20. So you can use up to 30 hashtags. And my advice is do it. What I do personally is I go onto Google. If I'm posting a pet portrait, I will Google pet portrait hashtags, and it will come up with the 30 most used pet portrait hashtags, and you can literally press copy and then paste it into your comment. So with this, the only thing I will say is don't overuse hashtags. So don't use the same hashtags every time. So what I'll do is I did a pet portrait, so I'll use them hashtags, and then I did another pet portrait, but this time I just searched dog hashtags because it's a portrait of a dog, and that means dog lovers are going to see it. You've got to kind of not lose yourself in the hashtags. Don't think too much about them. They're just there. They're helpful, but they're not that important. So get them hashtags in there every time. You can get up to 30. If you use the method that I used, you will always get exactly 30. So if you've already used some hashtags, just delete a couple off the 30. That's fine. You can't use any more than 30. Instagram is like, can't do that. So that's kind of my intake on your your title and your hashtags, okay? So, tagging. I don't know if you do this or not, but something you can do that is really helpful is to tag your photos. So if you post a picture of a painting, I don't know, and you use, for example, I'm just going to say Winsor & Newton again because my brain's not working yet. I haven't had a coffee. So tag Winsor & Newton in it and just make sure you comment, use Winsor & Newton for this. It's then going to show up on Winsor & Newton's tagged, which then is more reach. More people see you. Great. Things like that, little things. You can tag as many people as you want. I don't know if there's a limit, but you could also tag what pencils you use, what paper you use, where you did it. If you've sat in a cafe all afternoon sketching, tag the place you were in. You can also check in places. So if you went to Starbucks for the afternoon and you did something, tag Starbucks, and then people would be like, oh, they're in Starbucks drawing, like, that's cool. And then, they'll follow you or like your stuff, or they'll at least see you, okay? So last but not least, something I want to talk about is sponsors. Sorry, my arm's filthy. So you can get a lot of sponsors on Instagram. Do not fall for the stupid honey traps where they're like, hey, I'll give you 20% off if you like and share this. Order now and then make 10 posts. No, do not do it. You deserve better than that. If someone wants you to advertise their stuff for free, then you want a bit more than 20% off an order. Okay? I mean, if you want their stuff anyway and they're offering you 20% off, take it. Yeah, of course. But if you're not really that fussed on what they're offering you, then don't take it. Don't be afraid to say no. More will come along. And you'll get these sponsors by continually being on Instagram, tagging their products, tagging their stuff. Find out who works for these companies. I know that sounds really creepy. But for example, if you found out, I don't know, the CEO of Winsor & Newton, and you found out what their personal profile is, if it's public, don't be creepy, and you follow that and you comment on their stuff, they're going to notice you more, and they're going to be more likely to watch out for your stuff on Instagram, on the main page as well, meaning that you're more likely. So if you really want to be sponsored by a certain company, then stalk the company. I know that sounds ridiculous, but comment on everything they do, like everything they do. Every time you use something of theirs, tag them. Get them to share it if you can, you know. So there are 3 types of people that you'll have following you / you'll be following on Instagram. So you've got potential clients and clients, which is one category. So people who are looking to get work from you, or who have considered it, or people who just like your work. You've got your peers, people who are the same level as you, maybe a little above, maybe a little below, who do the same thing as you. And they're looking to compare themselves to you and looking to see what you're doing to get inspiration. And you're probably doing the same to them too. And the third lot you've got is companies. So art companies, art supply companies, things like that. So depending what you do, you might be looking at t-shirt branding companies and things like that. So there'll also be a group of people who may follow you and who you will follow. So it's important to know who you're aiming at. So there's no point in constantly aiming at the businesses and being like, I use all these products all the time, but not saying anything about your work. So you need to be saying, I use this, I really enjoyed this, you can find my rates here. And also for your peers, educate them. Be like, what did you use? Why did you use it? Like, I use this technique, I use this. You can find more about this here. You need to engage with all 3 of these groups at all times. So you need to make sure you're including in your comments all this information. So you need to give a little bit for everyone to keep everyone focused, okay? So something else as well that I'm not really into is gridding. So it's how you lay your Instagram out. So when you look on your Instagram profile, you have 3 photos, 3 photos, 3 photos, and it is, you know, we all know how it looks. It's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So some people will really try their best to make these look nice. So they may have the same colour theme going all along. They may have 3 different colours. They may do it at diagonals and try and set out like that. If you want to go into gridding, you can find a lot more about this on YouTube. It's not something I do personally. I think having your work clear and representing itself is enough. And I do such a variation of work that it's hard to really kind of grid something that isn't the same, you know? So yeah, that's one thing as well. And something else I wanted to talk to you about as well in regards to gridding is archiving. So if you click on any of your photos, maybe you're like, oh, I've got all black and grey photos and 1 colour photo. Do not delete your photos ever, because that will reduce your engagement and Instagram will be like, nah. So do not reduce your engagement. Simply archive it. It means you can repost it later on if you want to, but it will remove it from your feed. So obviously don't do it as soon as you've posted something. That's just stupid. But do it after a while if you're like, it just doesn't look right. I do it all the time, you know. If there's a photo I look back and I'm like, it just doesn't fit, I'll just archive it, and then I can repost it later if I want, but I don't have to. That means as well that if you do want to post the same thing you've posted previously, you can archive the previous one, meaning that you're not going to have 6 of the same photo on your feed, okay? So that's something that's really helpful too. Okay, so something else I want to speak to you guys about is how to grow them followers quickly. So this is not a way to get engaging followers, not at all. And I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to get your numbers up, okay? So what you need to do is you need to go onto your followers list. You need to work out firstly, what kind of followers do you want? Clients is usually the best one to go with because they're easier to find. Also peers as well. I wouldn't really bother with brands, but clients and peers work quite well. So go on their profile. So now you're on their profile. If you go over to their followers and scroll to the right, you'll be able to see recommended people to follow. That will be people who are similar to this person and people who are similar to people you already follow. Go through that list and follow everyone on it. You can only do this about twice an hour, so don't do it too much or Instagram will block you from following people. You will notice in the next 24 hours, you'll get probably about 20 to 30 new followers, which is great, okay? Which is really good. It's quite a lot of followers to get in a short amount of time. So continuing doing this will raise your followers each day, but it'll also raise the amount of people you are following. So on Instagram, you can only follow up to 7,500 people at a time. So bear this in mind when you're following people. That's a lot of people to have in your feed. What I would recommend doing though, once you've kind of done this a few times, you can go onto your people that you follow and go on to least interacted with. These are people who you don't interact with and they don't interact with you. So you can simply unfollow them. Something I will say about this though, is the fact that some people have an app I wouldn't recommend getting because Instagram can actually block you for using this app, which will show who does and doesn't follow them. So it will show them everyone that doesn't follow them back that they follow, and it will automatically unfollow you. So you may lose followers doing this, but it is a good way to pick up followers quickly and get yourself to higher numbers quickly. However, if you follow all the other tips I've given you, you will grow followers organically and they will stay because they want to see what you're doing, because you're giving them everything that they want and you're making it clear and easy for them to follow you. So my recommendation is to do it organically. If you do want to increase your followers quickly, then you can do that. Do not use apps for doing this because Instagram will block you. And that is not what you want, especially when you put so much effort in, okay? So yeah, following people who are recommended to you will most likely get them to follow you back. Not everyone will follow you back because, freedom. But you will get a lot of people following you back because they're like the person who's already following you, meaning that they're probably interested in what you've got. Okay? So thanks for watching my video. I hope it's super helpful. If you've got any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram and I will do my best to reply. Have a nice day. Bye.